Okay, you can tell these two are Accubonds. These two are Ballistic tips. Welcome back to Shooting the Breeze. It's the beginning of July, and I know a lot of us have hunting season coming up, and you might be wondering, what type of bullet should I use for your big hunt this fall? One of the things that we get confused about when we are looking at different bullets is whether a bullet is bonded or not. And when you look at a box of bonded bullets, one, they cost more, but two, they say they penetrate better. So we're going to test that today and see if the bonded bullets actually penetrate better than non-bonded bullets. To show that, I have loaded up some 30-06 bullets, and you can see we have two different colors of bullets. Okay, the ones with green tips have 165 grain Nosler ballistic tips in them. The ones with white tips have 165 grain Nosler Accubonds. What's interesting with Nosler bullets is that if you have the same caliber bullet and the same grain weight for ballistic tips and Accubonds, they have the same ballistic coefficient, meaning they'll both fly through the air, all other things being equal, the same way. So I've loaded these to have the same powder charge, the same overall length in the cartridge, the same everything. The only difference between them is some are loaded with ballistic tips and some are loaded with Accubonds. The Accubonds having that copper jacket bonded to the lead core, and they're supposed to penetrate a lot deeper. You'll even see on the box that the Accubond bullets show an elk on there, and the ballistic tips don't. They say it's not meant for something that big. Well, let's put them to the test with our OSB box that we used for the cannon. If you missed the last video where we shot this with a little cannon, we have 30 boards, and these are the thicker boards that I have. They're about 5/8 of an inch of OSB, and we're going to see how many each bullet goes through. Not only are we going to shoot the OSB board box with the ballistic tips and Accubonds, but I'm going to shoot it at different ranges. That way we can see how distance affects the penetration we get with each of these two bullets. The rifle we'll be shooting today is the same rifle we used to detonate the tree down on the farm. If you didn't see that video, you gotta go check that one out. But it is a Socko A7 chambered in 30-06. We're gonna shoot the ballistic tip first. We'll go see how many boards it cut through, and then we'll shoot the Accubond and see there. We're shooting it first at 100 yards. Let's go look. We hit dead center on our plate. I forgot to write the distance. This was 100 yards. Well, our next shot will be 100 yards with the Accubond. So I hit dead center on that with the ballistic tip. Coming off to the side, we see that we shot through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then it smacked right there, but the bullet is right there. So there's the 165 grain ballistic tip. It went through 12 boards. It opened up that much. Let's try the Accubond and see how it might be different. Okay, that was 12 boards with the ballistic tip at 100 yards. Let's try the Accubond, and we're also going to show you how fast they're going so you maybe have a sense for how hot of a load this is. So our 165 grain Accubond. All right, let's go check and see how we did with the Accubond. Here we are, 100 yards with the Accubond. I shot that paper plate. We hit a little bit off left. That was probably me pulling it, but could be a little bit of the wind. It's blowing pretty good. I'm sure glad we got these mics so you guys don't have to deal with the scratchiness of the sound. But let's see how far we penetrated through the box. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, look at that. So here's our ballistic tip. Let's pull out this 13th board. Okay. This ballistic tip smacked right here and fell down. So it didn't go through this 13th board. But the Accubond, we found it stuck. It's right here. Okay. So let's look at that compared to the ballistic tip. So the ballistic tip, the jacket has separated from the core. There's some little bits of lead down in there that were part of that. They've separated. But the Accubond, the copper jacket and the lead core has stayed connected. But yet, that's what it's supposed to do, but it only penetrated really through just one more board than the ballistic tip. I thought it would have gone a lot further than that. I wonder if at 200 yards, if we won't see a little more difference. Let's staple up some new paper plates, see how it goes. Okay, so we had them kind of in these two corners. We'll do the opposite two corners just so we can get as much use out of these boards as we can. There we go. 200 yards, let's try the ballistic tip first. All right, let's go see how we did with the ballistic tips at 200 yards. So we shot at this paper plate, we hit right here, kind of on the edge, and we punctured through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, look at that. Okay, so this is the first ballistic tip we shot. There's the Accubond, right? And there's another ballistic tip. So you can tell the two ballistic tips separated and the one Accubond stayed together, but it penetrated the same 12 boards at 200 yards, so we didn't lose that much energy going back 100 yards. Let's try the Accubond and see if we get the same result. All right, let's go check it out. Well, I think we may have to reshoot that one. We hit right here in the 2x4 and it kind of just chewed up this. As we come over here, we can see it hit the side of this one that was poking out a bit. And here's the 3 that we've had already. Let's reshoot it. Let's go check. We hit there good. We got through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So see, this one still has the 4 holes in it. That's the 12th board. Nothing on the 13th board. Oh, there it is. Nice and mushroomed. Okay, you can tell these two are Accubonds. These two are ballistic tips. But irregardless, 200 yards, they have the same penetration on this box. Let's step it back to 300 yards and see what we can do. We're going to try the ballistic tip first and see if 300 yards doesn't limit the number of boards it goes through some. Okay, let's go take a look. Well, we had a great lull in the wind for that shot, and I aimed up here near the top of the plate, and at 300 yards, we dropped all the way to just under the plate. And we shot through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 boards again, 300 yards with a Nosler ballistic tip. I wonder if the Accubond will do the exact same thing, just keep on punching through 12 boards. Let's hope the wind holds up as we get further back. Wind makes it all the more difficult. The wind is gusting again, so we'll see. But let's try 300 yards with the 165 grain Accubond. Let's go see how we did. The wind is just howling, and we hit on this plate instead of that plate, but we still hit through. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And we creep around, and look, there's our bullet right there. Again, only penetrating through the 12th board. So we're not seeing that much difference at distance. I calculated on my phone the energy these bullets have. They're averaging about 2,045 feet per second at 165 grains. And that comes out to 3,177 pounds of energy, which is pretty good for a 30-06. Let's back it off to 400 yards to see if that changes how far they go. We are back now at 400 yards from our OSB box. We're going to see if 400 yards is enough distance to limit the number of boards we go through. So far, it hasn't made any difference. 400 yards, I think, is about the furthest you ought to shoot at any big game animal. We'll see if we can hit the box and what our penetration's like, starting with our ballistic tip. Let's go see how we did. All right, well, we hit it at 400 yards, aiming for this plate, and I hit right here. Let's see how far we made it through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and this is board 12, and it didn't go through that. That's some lead core, and I don't see any copper jacket anywhere. But yeah, it didn't go through the 12th board. All the other shots at 300 yards and in have gone through that 12th board. 400 yards, it stopped through 11. that range is starting to make a difference. Let's try the Accubond and see if we get any difference. Maybe it'll have just enough punch to smack that 12th board. 400 yards with a 165 grain Accubond. Let's see if we can reach that 12th board, unlike the ballistic tip at this range. I think we smacked it. Let's go check it out. Hit it right here. And so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that's as far as the ballistic tip made it. But then here's the 12th board. See, the ballistic tip didn't make it, but looks like the Accubond is stuck in the 12th board. There it is. So at 400 yards, the Accubond does penetrate a little better. Instead of stopping it after the 11th board, it half cratered itself into the 12th board, whereas the ballistic tip didn't seem to touch the 12th board at all. I wonder if we can hit it at 500 yards and if it'll make much difference. All right, we're all the way back at 500 yards. I can tell that people say hunting past 400 yards is pretty unethical. The wind here seems to be coming straight at my face, but as I look down at the target, I can see billows of dust moving from right to left. And so the wind is different down there than it is here. It's going to make it pretty difficult to figure where to aim to hit the box. If that was a big game animal and you misjudge that, especially where you don't have a table and a rest, where you can take your time, sometimes the animal's moving, it's just going to be so hard to hit something where you have different wind in different places. We're doing this for science to see if 500 yards is enough to severely limit the number of boards the bullets will go through, but shooting an animal this far just seems reckless and unlikely to hit it well. I have adjusted my scope now. I am up 16 clicks, which I think will put me still on the box as long as the wind doesn't blow me around. We'll see if we can hit it. All right, let's go see how we did. Well, we took a couple shots at it and it seemed like I was going under it. So I got on my phone and put in the velocity and 500 yards. We're at about 4,500 feet of elevation. It's 94 degrees today. And according to the calculator, it says that my bullet is dropping like 46 inches at this distance. So I just turned my scope up 20 more clicks. We'll see if we can hit the box. Let's go look at it and see if we hit it. Well, after a bunch of scope adjustments and actually finding out that the scope was a little bit loose, I need to tighten the bases down. We did manage to hit the box at 500 yards right here. And we actually hit it again a second time on this edge, but we won't count that one because it kind of hits askew. But the one that hit there kind of in the middle, it went through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 boards And there's our copper jacket, and there's the lead core. At 500 yards, it still goes through 10 of these boards. I don't know if we can hit it with the Accubonds with the scope being wiggly. We can launch a few rounds and see if we happen to hit it. If we do, we'll come back and count boards. We got a lot of things not in our favor. 500 yards with what I figure is 46 inches of drop with the calculations we've done, and a wiggly scope. So it doesn't wiggle too much. We're able to hit it once with the ballistic tips. We'll try it with the Accubonds and see if we can smack that box once. Let's see if we hit it. Well, we shot at it more times than I'd like to admit at 500 yards, and we only hit it one time with a ballistic tip, and it went through 10 boards. With what we've seen at all the other yardages, I can imagine that the Accubond would have penetrated just about the same, maybe a little bit into the 11th board, but with all the different dynamics and our scope came loose, I don't think we could have hit it, and we sure tried. But anyways, that's it. Comparing ballistic tips to Accubonds out of the 30-06. For how much Accubonds cost, they don't penetrate that much better than the ballistic tips. They hold together more. They do. We have seen every ballistic tip, the core and the jacket separated every single time. And every single time that we caught a Accubond, it held together. So if that's important to you, go with the Accubonds. I've had good luck with Accubonds. They've performed well for me. I likely will continue with them, but on the box, they don't seem to make that much of a difference. Well, that's it for Shooting the Breeze, and stay tuned. We'll have some more fun for you next time.